Well, hello, all my peeps. So today's thing is going to be about keeping yourself safe and now in troubled times. I have to be honest, of all the things I saw, this one has still been a very big disappointment as far as the police brutality thing and stuff that's going on right now. I don't know if people who saw my first or second video remember that whenever this was a couple months ago, I said I didn't see a war within the world. I saw a war within our own country. And now we're seeing that, and we're going to see that all year this year. So it's going to be a pretty wild year on top of the coronavirus. So this video, I want to just remind you of no, it's still not safe to go out with the coronavirus. If you can read, you can see it spiking back up in states again, even states that haven't reopened, but its numbers are not getting better, people. So the coronavirus is still a very serious concern, and it's how many months later, and I still hardly go anywhere. And like I told you, I'll tell you when it's safe, really safe to go out, but it's not. But on top of it, the second thing I wanted to do in this video is tell you about other safety concerns I have now. Something else I said in one of my videos was be very aware of your surroundings. Be very aware of if somebody looks funny, if you're walking into a bank or a grocery store and you see somebody looking funny and it concerns you, turn around and go away. I can't even express enough now how important that is to use your guts right now. You know, if you're coming up to a stop sign or a stoplight and you're to the side of, in front of, or behind a cop, get away from them. I am starting to get a bad feeling we're going to start having some cop ambushing going on where people literally just come up to cops when they're stopped and murder them. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really am. Once again, I know you guys don't get this. I'm not hoping any of this is right. So I'm really bummed that so far everything's been right because it means things are shitty. But this is another huge concern I have right now that I did not see before. I saw the conflict in our country, but I didn't know what it was about. And the truth of the matter is it's going to be about a lot more than I realized. It's going to be a free-for-all. Not only of Black Lives Matter, which is hugely important, and I highly support 100%. And I think anybody who's protesting now during the coronavirus is both dumb and a hero. I mean, I personally won't protest just because, honestly, I'm not going to get the coronavirus. And it's going to obviously spread even worse than it was spreading because of the protests. But I do also think those people are heroes for risking their lives to go do this. So I want them to understand I highly support the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's happening right now. But with everything that's happening right now, everybody who has any angst about anything, who's upset about anything, you know, Black Lives, Trump, the color of the grass in their yard, whatever the hell their problem is that day, people are now actively looking for trouble. They're actively looking to go create trouble. We have now moved beyond the Black Lives Matter movement, protests and stuff. We're moving into very uncharted territories right now in our country that I'm not sure we have ever seen, even with the racial rights and stuff in the 60s and 70s. I think this is going to be a whole nother thing because I think people who are upset about other shit are going to come out in the guise of the Black Lives Matter movement because this gives them an excuse to come out and be stupid. So I think there's going to be a lot of racist, dumbass people like the asshole yesterday, the leader of the Ku Klux Klan in whatever state who drove into a group of protesters and tried to run them over. I mean, this was their literal head of the Ku Klux Klan who was well known in his state, who literally tried to drive over protesters yesterday or the day before, I don't remember. We're going to see all kinds of this shit now. And we're going to see this from people you wouldn't have even thought it coming from. That's what's scary about all this is remember, all this chaos and all this energy and all the stuff that's happening right now in the world is being felt by everybody, not just people like me. It's being felt like by everybody, but in just different ways. And for people who were already a loose thread and hanging on, you know, by a little bit to their sanity is now gone. This whole protest, cop killing thing has just opened the biggest goddamn bag of worms in our country. And not in a bad way as far as the Black Lives Matter. Let me reiterate that. But the problem is what else it's going to bring out. And what else it's going to bring out is all the crazy ass people who have just been waiting for this moment in time to make a name for themselves. Because there are people who don't understand this, but there are people that literally are willing to kill other people just to make a name for themselves. They'll go to prison. They'll do whatever. They don't care. They literally just want to make a name for themselves in whatever way. They hate black people. They hate cops. They hate Asians. They hate whatever the hell their problem is today. They're willing to go to prison for these hates. So that's why we've now tipped into a more dangerous territory. You know, in the 60s and 70s, a lot of white people who did awful things didn't go to prison because they were white. And for people who don't think white privilege is real, you're dumber than shit. White privilege is very real. And I'm saying that as a white woman. It's very real. I know that. As a white woman, I've always understood that. But this is going to be what happened in the 60s and 70s. This is going to be very different because back then white people knew they were going to get away with whatever they did pretty much. There were very few consequences for white people 50 years ago. There's going to be prison consequences now for white people who do dumb shit. But that tells you how different the mindset is. Because I guarantee you 50 years ago, if white people had thought they were, for 1 second, they could possibly go to prison for 50 years for hurting or killing somebody, they wouldn't have done it. This group is different. This group we have now is crazier, more anxious, more upset. Maybe they've lost their job to the coronavirus. Maybe they lost their mom and dad to the coronavirus. Whatever. We're in unprecedented times in the world that most of us will never ever see again in our lifetime. And that's brought along those people who are truly willing to kill you and go to prison just to get their name out there and to make a point, whatever their point they think they're making. So not only am I telling you now to be extremely cautious of people around you when you walk into the store or the whatever, and be just very aware of people who the hair on the back of your neck rises when you're near. But beyond that, places you wouldn't have even thought, like sitting at a stoplight and you just happen to be sitting next to a cop who's also sitting at the stoplight. Those are places that are now going to become dangerous. Any place cops are is now going to become dangerous, not just from the cops themselves who are the bad apples. And there are a lot of good cops out there, just so you know. You know, I've dated policemen. I've had friends of policemen. I know they're good cops. And I know 30% of them suck. And I realize that. So I'm not defending cops. But we have entered that territory where it's going to be dangerous to even be around a cop because there's going to be people out gunning for them that have no reason to, but just want to make a name for themselves. So I'm telling you now, at riots, at protests, at going to Walmart, whatever you're doing, people, be really super aware because the lid has literally flown off the pot of craziness in our country, and this summer is going to be crazy in a way we've never seen. Good point. We're going to have a lot of good stuff come out of this. Already in a month, there's been tremendous changes being done across the country as far as the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's about goddamn time that's happened. And black people and African American people, it's just going to get better now, which is about goddamn time. I think most of us agree with. So there's, once again, just like the coronavirus, there's going to be a lot of good that comes out of everything that's happening this summer. But the bad that's going to come out of everything that happens this summer is that people are going to die from stupidity. People are going to die from the coronavirus. And, you know, I'm not saying if you die from the coronavirus because you went out and protested, you're stupid. I admire those people that are protesting. But people are going to get killed by random people who just are honestly nuts. And they just literally want to make some stupid statement that only makes it to themselves and the other crazy people. And the rest of us just realize how crazy they are, but they don't care. So people, things are actually worse now than they were when I first started these 2 months ago or whatever. They're worse now because not only is the coronavirus not in check remotely in the United States, obviously gotten better in other countries who put their shit together and figured out how to contain the coronavirus, like New Zealand, places like that. But, you know, as long as Trump's in the presidency, nothing's getting better with the coronavirus in our country. Nothing. He has demonstrated just how stupid he is and what a big fucking baby ass he is hiding in his bunker and all that shit. So nothing in our country is going to get better about the coronavirus. And so the people who have to be aware of that and take care of that's you and me. You and me have to be aware of that. We need protection and we need to write this and we need to be away from that and we shouldn't be going around sick people and blah, blah, blah. We're going to have to do that because nobody in our country is going to do that. So the coronavirus, which has never remotely been under control in our country, is remember, people, I'm not joking, we're still in the first wave. I know people are like, oh, the second wave's coming. No, just because you had a wave in your state and you reopened your state and then you have more doesn't make it a second wave. If your numbers never went down for any significant amount of time, you're still in the first damn wave. And we're all still in the first damn wave. And now the wave is going up, and it's just going to get worse. So now the coronavirus situation is worse because of the protesting. Because now the protesters are out spreading it. And like I said, this is a catch-22 because I'm all for the protest, but I also recognize that the protests are just going to help propel this like wildfire through our country, even worse than it was already going to go. So when I've been sitting here, thinking, are my numbers right? Is it really going to be this many people that I think? Blah, blah, blah. Yep, it is. We're still going to have several million people die of coronavirus or coronavirus-related things in our country and hundreds of millions worldwide, minimally. So I'm not changing my numbers. Now that all this other stuff is happening, I get it. Because there's a lot of other stuff that's coronavirus related that people are dying from that I wasn't even factoring in to the equation. So I'm still not doubting my numbers. It's still going to be bad. And because it's going to be bad, that means you need to still be cautious and not be going to restaurants to eat. Oh my God, I just want to flip out when I drive by restaurants and I see people sitting in restaurants, social distancing. Ha 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 ha. I don't know what that version is. So that's all this video is now we're in more dangerous times than we were 2 months ago because of everything else that's going on besides the coronavirus. So I want to just put it out there to you. I really do see ambush cop killings coming now. And I do see ambush killings of other leaders and things happening now. I don't know even leaders of what. I don't know if it's political leaders. I don't know. I just see people in positions of power literally being murdered in their cars and in places that they should be safe because of the crazy context of what's happening in our country. So that's all this video is still be safe, still be aware that things are crazy, try not to be around policemen if you can help it, if nothing else, just so you don't accidentally get shot while the cop's getting shot by somebody else. Stay home. Stay home, stay home, stay home. I can't say that enough. And I know for those of you who got to work, that's not an option, but besides going to work, stay home. You shouldn't be in gyms. You shouldn't be in restaurants. You shouldn't be at amusement parks. You shouldn't be at any of these places, people. It's still, we haven't even come close to our first peak. So it's just so irritating to see all this happening. So be safe. Once again, I'll tell you, I'll put out a video as soon as it's safe, but it's not going to be safe for a while. And if I see anything else that I think is important enough to keep you around that maybe you're not aware of, I'll put out another video like this cop thing. The cop thing's going to be a big deal. But just try not to get yourself trapped in any place that you could potentially get hurt because somebody else is going to get hurt. Okay? That's it. Love each other. Keep your shit together. Don't trust the coronavirus is going away because, it's not even close. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.